The South China Sea has once again become a flashpoint of global attention. Recent events between China and the Philippines have escalated tensions to a level not seen in years, pushing the delicate balance of power in the region to its very edge. What exactly is happening, and why does it matter to all of us? Let's break it down. For months, we've witnessed a series of confrontations near contested shoals and reefs. It started with what seemed like routine maritime patrols, but quickly intensified. Philippine vessels on resupply missions to their outpost at Second Thomas Shoal, known as Ayungin Shoal in the Philippines, and Renaijiao in China, have been met with increasingly assertive actions from Chinese Coast Guard and maritime militia vessels. We've seen water cannons, dangerous maneuvers, and collisions that have damaged Philippine boats and injured crew members. These incidents aren't just isolated skirmishes. They represent a clear pattern of behavior that many analysts believe is designed to test boundaries and establish control. The Philippines has accused China of crossing a red line with these aggressive tactics. For Manila, these aren't just territorial disputes anymore. They are direct challenges to their sovereignty and the safety of their people. The government has lodged hundreds of diplomatic protests, but the situation on the water has only grown more volatile. In response to this escalating pressure, the Philippines has been strengthening its oldest alliance. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., as administration, has been actively engaging with the United States, invoking the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty. This treaty is the bedrock of their security relationship, stating that both nations would support each other if either were attacked. The big question now is, what constitutes an attack? Does a water cannon blast qualify? What about a deliberate ramming that endangers lives? Washington has publicly reaffirmed its ironclad commitment to the Philippines. High-level officials have stated that an armed attack on Philippine armed forces, public vessels, or aircraft, including those of its Coast Guard in the South China Sea, would trigger the mutual defense obligations. This statement is a significant diplomatic signal to Beijing, essentially drawing a line in the sand. The U.S. has backed this up with increased joint military exercises, freedom of navigation operations, and enhanced security cooperation with the Philippines. But this diplomatic maneuvering is a high-stakes game. For China, the South China Sea is a core national interest. Their 9-line claim encompasses almost the entire sea, a claim that was invalidated by an international tribunal in 2016, a ruling that Beijing has consistently ignored. From China's perspective, the increased U.S. presence is foreign interference, an attempt to contain its rise and meddle in regional affairs. Chinese state media often portrays the Philippines as a pawn in a larger U.S. strategy, urging them to pursue dialogue directly with Beijing instead of relying on external powers. The implications of this standoff are massive. Firstly, it affects global trade. The South China Sea is one of the world's most important shipping lanes, with trillions of dollars in trade passing through it annually. Any disruption, whether from a blockade or an armed conflict, would send shockwaves through the global economy, affecting supply chains and prices for all of us. Secondly, it tests the strength and credibility of international law and alliances. If China can successfully assert its claims through force, it could set a dangerous precedent for other territorial disputes around the world. Conversely, if the U.S. and its allies successfully push back, it reinforces the principle that disputes should be resolved peacefully and according to established international norms. The situation is also having a profound impact within the Philippines. There's a surge in nationalistic sentiment, with the public largely backing the government's tougher stance. The phrase West Philippine Sea is used with pride and defiance. However, there are also voices of caution, warning of the economic and human costs of a potential conflict with a much larger neighbor. The debate rages on. Is a stronger alliance with the U.S. the only path to security, or does it risk pulling the Philippines into a great power conflict? What happens next is uncertain. Will there be a diplomatic breakthrough, or will a miscalculation at sea lead to an irreversible escalation? Several other countries in the region, like Vietnam, Malaysia, and Indonesia, are watching closely. They have their own disputes with China and are trying to navigate a path that protects their interests without provoking a conflict. The unity of ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, is being severely tested as member states struggle to form a cohesive response. Recently, we've also seen other international players get involved. Countries like Japan, Australia, and even European nations like France and Germany have increased their naval presence and conducted joint drills with the Philippines and the U.S. This growing coalition of like-minded nations is a clear signal that the dispute is no longer just a regional issue. It's become a global test case for the future of the rules-based international order. For the men and women on the front lines, the Filipino sailors and Coast Guard personnel, this is a daily reality. Every resupply mission is a nerve-wracking ordeal. They are sailing into a contested area vastly outnumbered, not knowing if they'll be met with water cannons, lasers, or worse. Their bravery is undeniable, but the strain on them and their families is immense. So, as we watch these events unfold from afar, it's crucial to understand the stakes. This isn't just a distant maritime squabble, it's about sovereignty, international law, and the balance of power in a region critical to global stability and prosperity. The actions taken by Manila, Beijing, and Washington in the coming months could define the security landscape of the 21st century. Will diplomacy prevail, or are we drifting closer to a conflict that nobody wants? We will continue to follow this story as it develops. Thanks for watching, and if you found this analysis helpful, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more in-depth reports. Stay informed and stay safe.